Hello, wrenches, and welcome to the Wrench Turners podcast, Coach's Corner. Today, we're going to review what we learned in the first 4 episodes of Coach's Corner and look for the patterns, a way to highlight the important details so folks can come back and reference this episode like a tool for quick and easy consumption. If you haven't listened to the first 4 episodes of Coach's Corner, do that first. This is a summary review with a goal of creating a series of refreshers to get you think outside the box and to apply some of the learning more easily. Remember, it can take 7 attempts of learning something to have it stored in your memory. The more you hear it, see it, feel it, and do it, the better you will cement it for later use. Briefly, thank you all for listening, watching, sharing, resharing, and pushing the podcast forward. This momentum is crazy and completely because of you. The more technicians we can help, the better we as an industry do, and more importantly, the more we save from the real dark side of unhappiness and unproductiveness. So without further delay, let's get into it. In episode 1, we talked about John. John, a 12-year experienced level 1 brand certified flat rate Ford tech, felt overwhelmed and stressed with his workload. His goal was to manage his time more effectively, improve productivity, reduce his stress, and have more time for his family. But in order to do so, we needed to figure out a way to find what he needed to fix. So John journaled. The session and subsequent sessions and the journaling identified John's time management as the most critical area that required attention. After seeing consistent areas of improvement logged in the journal, John reduced or cut wasted time. He did so to so much effect that he was able to reduce his working hours by 13% over 60 working days without compromising any quality of his work or reducing his billed hours. In episode 2, we talked about Francesco. Francesco, a 17-year experienced level 3 brand certified flat rate Nissan technician, initially believed warranty labor hours were causing his plateauing production and considered switching brands. The discovery session led to the requirement of journaling, as always, and his day-to-day activities need to go in that journal for 2 weeks before we could figure out more. Journaling helped reframe Francesco's negative perceptions of his baymate's days and his own into positive ones. Over time, Francesco's negative thoughts were reduced as he repeated positive affirmations, as found it was necessary by journaling. After 12 weeks of doing this consistent affirmations, Francesco's production increased by 8%, which allowed him to reach a bonus tier, earning a significantly higher paycheck with a less than double-digit production rise. By journaling, whiteboarding, and changing mindset, as well as self-reflection, led Francesco to a large success. In episode 3, we talked about Roberto. Roberto was a 7-year experienced level 1 brand certified Dodge technician. Roberto was feeling stressed and believed his negative mindset was caused by his baymates. So Roberto journaled. Starting to see the themes? After reviewing Roberto's notes, it became clear that the job mix was the main issue affecting his productivity. Roberto needed to reframe his negative thoughts into positive affirmations, something to be done consistently, using the whiteboard method. Roberto counted his negative thoughts and practiced saying positive affirmations every day to change his mindset. After 3 short weeks, Roberto gained some positive mindset and enough courage to talk to his boss. That conversation led to an overhaul of his DMS profile, a new training path, and a raise. In episode 4, we talked about Ross. Ross, who worked at a franchised independent shop, feels overwhelmed by the noise, the busyness, the chaos, the people, the systems, the policies, all of it affecting his day to day life at work and at home. Ross considered moving to a dealership because he thought better resources and a less chaotic environment. He believed that that was going to help him. But Ross journaled and whiteboarded. Given the circumstance, I expected Ross to quit, but he didn't. He continued, but required a lot of accountability to keep him held to these consistent daily efforts. After 6 weeks of journaling and effort, reaching out to leadership, baymates, friends, and family, Ross realized that the shop he worked at may not have been the best fit for him. Realized the industry that he's specifically in may not have been best for him, and also realized that he may have a authority action-based leadership issues in the shop, as well as technician favoring and several other production affecting issues. Ultimately, to be happy, Ross chose to leave the facility, but still maintain his mechanic nature by joining the military to repair tanks. He enjoyed the idea of the strict guidelines, policies, rank, authority, and processes to guide him in his day to day. So now that we've refreshed our memories on the first 4 episodes of All Four Gentlemen, we need to look at the patterns. What patterns emerged? I alluded to some in the middle, and you may have heard them, you may not have. But let's review. 1. Identifying the true challenge of your day and the true goal that you need to have because of the challenge. Each and every one of you has a challenge day to day. Each and every one of you has a possible action to correct said challenge. In this circumstance, all of them journaled. All of them journaled. Some needed to whiteboard, and all of them needed to self-reflect. The active journaling helps you folks identify areas for improvement on a consistent, ongoing basis. That way you can reframe what you need to reframe, add affirmations if you need affirmations, but more importantly, the journaling allows you to track progress and changes over time. This only works if you actually are honest in the journaling. Honest self-reflection is the one hardest thing to do. To be honest with yourself and put it on paper. However, as you can hear, some of the results are undeniably positive. Once you find the common recurring themes or challenges, reframing those negative thoughts, those negative challenges, and reframe them to a positive one, creating positive affirmations or positive action steps. That way, some of them can be carried out consistently and constructively. That way you can bear the most fruit from the most simple of steps. Lastly, some immediate action. As a pattern, you may have to do something hard, even harder than self-reflecting. Something like talking with your boss genuinely, having a real conversation with your leadership, seeking training opportunities, or changing policies and procedures in your store, or helping others around you rise in some way, whether it be through changing negative affirmation to positive ones, or what have you. Or the most important thing that might be affecting you right now is your thought that you might want to have a life-altering career decision to make. Those are the hardest things to consider. My goal is to help you be happier, healthier, and more productive in this trade. But if you find after journaling, after whiteboarding, after discussing with your friends, your family, your peers, your leadership, that that's not necessarily the case, my ultimate goal is to make sure that you're happy. Whatever action is required to help you make the next step, it's crucial that you take it. And if you need encouragement, energy, affirmation, or inspiration, I'm here to help. Thank you, Wrenches, for listening to another episode of the Wrench Turners podcast, Coach's Corner. Folks, we are growing quickly, thanks to you. However, we are only affecting still a super small number of folks in relation to the total industry size. There's almost 1 million of us turning wrenches in North America, and yet only a fraction of a fraction are listening when each episode drops. So please, if you could share this episode or any episode that you see the most value in with someone or your shop or your leadership, please do. We want to help as many folks as we can. The ultimate goal of the Wrench Turners podcast is to help technicians like you and your teams be happy. That means we need to spread the positivity. Even if you're down, try and lift someone up tomorrow. You never know. They may need it more than you know. For those that may have missed the memo, Wrench Turners is now on YouTube. Please check us out, like, comment, and subscribe to spread the word, the good word, even further. Lastly, if you happen to be a service leader and would like to have a group coaching session, or you caught yesterday's reverse interview with Zach Perkle and are interested in having this service done for your technician's direct report, please reach out by email to leader@justworkhard.com. Thank you again for listening, and don't forget, negative pushes, positive pulls, and always clean your toys before you put them away.